How's it going, guys? Mutant XP back on the mic. Welcome to the Mutant Experience podcast, episode 26, on this July 13th, Friday the 13th. As my guest tonight, I have the Houston Third Strike player. How do you pronounce your name again, man? Cesar?
You can Caesar.
Caesar? How do you?
Yeah, Caesar, Cesar, whichever one Caesar. Doesn't matter.
No, I mean your handle, man. Kage
Oh, my
or
handle?
Kage?
Oh.
It's Kage, right?
Well, I actually go by two. I go by Kage or BigNasty.
Oh man, I like it. I like it already. All right, I like it already. So for tonight, I got a special guest with me, Houston Third Strike player Kage, aka BigNasty, aka Cesar, aka Caesar. For those of you who aren't familiar with Kage, Kage is a Third Strike player who lives in the Houston area. He grinds with the likes of Katie Alpha and I forgot. I already forgot his name. What the hell? What's his name? The Necro player. Oh, what's his name?
Oh, he goes Nero.
Nero, brother Nero. Sorry, Nero. My bad.
or,
It's
AKA Henry.
it's I'm getting old. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old.
AKA Foe Master.
Foe master.
Yeah.
And so, for those of you who aren't familiar with Kage, like I said before, he's from the Houston area. He grinds with the likes of Katie Alpha and Brother Nero. He got second at Texas Showdown 2017, and this past year he got third in Texas Showdown 2018. And so, a very strong player, mostly known for grapplers, although I know you have a very strong Urian as well. And so we'll probably get to that in a little bit. But welcome to the show, Kage. Appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah, thank you for having me, actually.
So yeah, man. We don't really know each other very well. I don't know you at all, aside from the fact that you're pretty godlike at Third Strike,
Man,
which makes you automatically okay in my book. But just tell me, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into video games? Just you know.
Yeah, like just video games.
Yeah, just video games in general, man.
Well, I've been playing video games since back in Mexico when I was probably around 6, 7 or around years old. Um, I used to own a bootleg Nintendo. They used to call them back over there like they call it a family console, and it's pretty much a bootleg Famicom. And I remember that's what I used to play all the time. And then that's really when I started getting cooking video games. And then I would always ask my parents, buy me the next console when it would come out.
Mm.
I remember I had the Super Nintendo, and then after Super Nintendo, I got the Nintendo 64.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I would always used to play as soon as I got straight back from school, I would always be playing video games for a few hours. Your typical ones like Mario, Star Fox, whatever major Nintendo, releases. But I didn't get into actual fighting games until later on. That was until I moved over here into the US, really.
So you were born in Mexico?
Yeah.
Where exactly in Mexico were you born, man?
Mexico City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right in the center, I guess.
I've only been to one. I've only been to the mall that's like right across the border from California. That's my only experience in Mexico.
You should definitely. I mean, usually a good area to go is like Acapulco or Cancun, stuff like that. Yeah, those are good areas if you're just trying to go for the beaches or just chill for a bit, really.
So not to give away your age or anything, but like were you born like sometime in the 80s?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if you want to ask me straight up. Like, I don't care really.
No, it's alright. I don't want to blow anyone up, but yeah.
Like I'm in the
so you were born sometime in the 80s. How was Mexico like, man? I mean, do you remember it? Like, how old were you when you moved?
Yeah, I mean, I remember just the times I was there. Not everything, but I still remember pretty well. I mean, what do you want to know specifically? I mean, like,
I don't know. I mean,
what was I doing? Or
I'm just really curious, just how Mexico was, like what you remembered, how it was back then, and.
I mean, I know so far from when I was there until today, I mean, crime has gone up almost twice. That's I know for sure.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, it's a good thing you
I
got out of
heard,
there.
I know, I heard that the apartment complex where I used to live at,
Uh-huh.
it recently got closed down.
Oh
I
wow.
asked one of my uncles that still lives in Mexico,
Uh-huh.
and he said he went by and they closed them all down. So
Hmm.
it's the area where I used to live. Yeah, it's not really that good anymore. But
Okay.
when I used to live there, I
Uh-huh.
mean, you pretty much had everything around. You didn't need a car. Right when you get out of my apartment complex, if you went to the left, there was a corner store. There was a place where you can just buy tortillas. And then if you went to the across the street, there was a liquor store. And then if you went like around the corner, for some reason there was another corner store as well. And then there was a church. I mean, everything was really within walking distance. Unless you really needed specific items, like let's say buy meat and stuff, then yeah, you
Hmm.
had to you had to walk around, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, probably
Hmm.
tops. Um, and yeah, I still remember it pretty clearly. I mean, my dad only had the car, so if we needed to go anywhere, we had to walk. And it wasn't too bad. It was not like in Houston where if you're trying to buy something, you're gonna have to walk for a long, or you really need a car, pretty much to go anywhere. Uh,
Yeah,
and yeah,
I went to Houston. Yeah, I remember I was at Houston a couple of years ago, and Houston's pretty big, man.
it really
It
is,
really is.
man.
It never ends. It's like the never ending city. It's like when you think that you've gone through all of Houston, there's still like an area there, like that you still gotta go to.
Yeah, and really, like, if you're trying to do something here, you just go around or maybe go to a bar. Usually, everything is around the
Hmm.
center of Houston. Here on the north side, there's not much to do per se.
Hmm.
You still have to drive somewhere. Uh, but yeah, I mean, back in Mexico, I still remember that. Uh, going to school. Uh, I used to play in a soccer team,
Hmm.
and my dad was a lawyer before he had to move over here. I mean, I still remember pretty much all that. Uh, but don't remember, for example, like how to get to my grandma's house back in Mexico and all that. Yeah, I forgot a long time already, man. Pretty much. Um, and yeah,
Now,
I mean, we had to move back over here because of my dad and stuff.
mhm.
So that's really what happened.
Wait, were you born in America or were you born in Mexico?
I was born in Mexico, and then
Okay,
we came over here to the U.S.
okay.
Yeah.
Now here's the important question. Did you
Mhm.
ever do you remember going to any arcades in Mexico?
Oh hell yeah, dude! Hell
Tell
yeah!
me tell me about the arcades in
Hell
Mexico,
yeah!
Kage.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah, like I have too many stories of that,
Oh,
man.
all right.
Like
Tell me a story. Tell
the
me some.
KOF stories,
Oh
the
no.
KOF stories, man.
Uh oh. Uh oh.
They're all true, okay? They're all true, okay? Okay, that's whatever they tell you. It's probably gonna be true, man. Like
I'm not,
I'm gonna say like 99% of the time. So
dude.
every time we go into the meat market, when my mom had to get something,
Uh-huh.
she would give me like, let's say 10 pesos or 5 pesos, whatever she had on her.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes she would just be like, "Here's just enough for like 4 tokens, and make the most out of what you can."
Now, how old were
Eh,
you? Around what age were
I
you
was
when you
like
started going to
around
arcades?
9,
Uh-huh.
10,
Okay.
probably around between 8 or 10 around that time.
Uh-huh.
And I still remember clearly my biggest. Okay, the one that I was in love with was Metal Slug because it had just started coming out on the meat markets over there. And I remember that when the first one came out, all the kids were just on that nonstop. Uh, but anyways, yeah. So regarding the KOF, I remember that they had 90, 98, or which one was it? I can't remember which 91 was it,
Mhm.
but it was like all the way at the end of the hall of the arcade
Mhm.
place, and you would always see like at least 6 people, all of them yelling, and I was always wondering what's going on over there, because all the other machines you only had like maybe 1, 2 people that were empty,
Mhm.
and they were all screaming their lungs out, like saying "fuck him up," you know, what are you doing? He's like, hurry up, so it's my turn, stuff like that. They were talking mad shit the whole time, and you would get people like really, really getting mad, and then trying to fight people because they were
Uh-oh.
saying you're so cheap, that's bullshit. They wanted you to play a certain way, like
Uh-huh.
yeah, and it was always busy. Like that machine was always busy. I will never see it empty. Like I said, everything else was, so one person here or there, and no matter where you would go, I always see people playing KOF. That was that was like that one thing that was always constant. Always fighting games there were actually pretty popular, and I never understood the appeal until later on when Marvel vs. Capcom dropped in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And when that dropped, man, everyone wanted to play that. Nobody else touched anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that there was a line just to play it. And when I first saw the game, I was thinking, what is this? Like, why is, like, who's this guy shooting out of his arm? I mean, Mega Man, And I was like, man, this is crazy. I want to play this. And I remember when I saw Venom on the game, I fell in love with the game.
Wow,
And I
Venom.
just needed to play it. But back then I didn't know that it was just arcade exclusive, And I thought, I was like, where can I buy the game? I asked my mom, can you buy me the game? And just so she would tell me, just so I would shut up, she would be like, yeah, okay, I'll buy it. But I was here hoping like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get it, but I never did. It's just so. I still remember it clearly, man. It's just something from my childhood that I still remember it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that since you were a little kid and then the other guys were like, what, on their 16s,
Mm-hmm.
17s, as soon as you lost, it'll be like, get the fuck out, like they will push you away.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, let the real guys play this. And I'll be like, what? Like, what? I'm just trying to play.
Uh-huh.
And then, why they did that is because there were some other people trying to play each other because they were talking shit all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in Mexico it was pretty vicious if you were playing fighting games. At least on the arcades back then. I don't know about now since I haven't been there forever, but that's how it was. It was entertaining, and like I said, for me, when I went there, it's just for Metal Slug and whatever, like Captain Commando, a beat 'em up game, Final Fight, whatever they had there. And yeah, but I never actually. The only one I played was Marvel vs. Capcom 1, and that was probably maybe 2-3 times.
Mm-hmm.
But that was enough for me to want it really bad. And I mean, yeah, that's what I remember back then on the arcade machines. I wouldn't try doing it again because the kids will bully you out of it. Like, get out of here. You don't know what to play. Even Mortal Kombat, actually. Not that you're saying that Mortal Kombat was the same, but it wasn't as popular as KOF. It's just, I think, something on our genes that just attracted us to
I
King of Fighters.
I'm glad that you brought that up, Kage, because I don't want to sound like racist or anything,
Yeah.
but like I think you're the first Hispanic I've had on the podcast, and I've always wondered because like I grew up in SoCal, Southern California, and I kind of experienced the same thing you did when it came to KOF. Basically there were two groups. There were two main groups of people that played KOF in my town where I grew up. There were Koreans and there were Mexicans. and those were basically the two groups that played KOF. Like what do you think is the appeal? I mean, it's still popular among Latin in Latin countries, right? KOF. I mean, what do you think is the appeal?
Man, definitely. I mean,
like, is it the characters? Is it like, I don't know what is?
I have no idea because I have never played a KOF until 13.
Uh-huh.
And everybody always asks me like, so are you telling me that you, a Mexican guy, has never touched KOF until 13? You're telling me that, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yes, I have never liked KOF. I always hated KOF. I never found the appeal. Like, it's exactly what you're asking me. I never found the appeal. And because I was thinking like three people you need to control, like that sounds like too much work. I ain't trying to do all that, And I remember when I started getting into it, I met a few people here on the Houston scene, and I remember when they had brought 12 over here on one of the Mitsuris, and I fell in love with it because it just looks so fluid. And then I was like, I need to get it, but I never did. And then I saw that they did 13, and then I that's when I picked it up, just because I liked the combo system and how fluid it looked. It just looked that everything that happened in the game was meant for it to, be not clunky. It just like I said, it just felt fluid. But I still don't understand the appeal of it for the other ones though. Like I still don't. I tried 98, 2000. I don't like them. And I don't know. I wish I could have an answer for your question. All I can say is I guess it's on our genes. I don't know.
Okay.
Because I really don't. I never understood the appeal, man. There was there's a few people here who have asked me that too. He's like you guys always play KOF, like oh, like Hispanic people. So I was hoping you could tell me, and I'll be like, I don't know. I really don't know, dude. And you're right. People still play it a lot. I mean, I see it on 5K. I see it on YouTube.
Mhm.
People still play it. I think 2002, 2000. I can't remember which one. And even 98 still. If you go to 5K, the lobby is full of people playing it. But I have no idea, man. I'm not the one to ask, because like I said, I never really liked it to begin with.
Yeah.
And people don't. And believe it or not, people don't think. People think I'm lying when I tell them that.
Yeah, right. Like they think like you're secretly some like KOF master.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like you should be good by default. Like you're Hispanic, like you should have it on. Like you should be good by default. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm not.
Dude,
I'm not, man.
I used to grind on that KOF, man, when I was younger, dude. Because
Really?
my best friend in Cali loved KOF. So like
Which
it
one
was
did you used to
around
grind on?
basically 97, 98, 99, and then I stopped at 2000 because
I see.
2000 was super broken. Like 2000 was where you could like call the strikers while you're comboing. That's like retarded.
Oh, that sounds
But
cheap.
but yeah, like I used to grind on that because my best friend he loved the KOF series, and KOF was one of those first games that you could play like emulator, right? Like the Neo Geo emulator.
It's super easy to emulate. It's not hard at all. It wasn't
So
like Third Strike that it took
yeah.
forever.
So how old were you when you moved to Houston? Around
I was like 12,
12.
if I remember correctly. Yeah,
Okay.
it's been a while, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so did you did you know English when you came already? Or?
Oh hell no, man! All
No.
I knew how to say was hell no, dude. All I knew how to say was yes, no, hello, and I don't speak English. That's it, man. That's
Uh-huh.
it. That's all I knew how to say, man. Like
Yeah.
they just pretty much threw me into the wolves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I had to learn it the hard way, eventually
Uh-huh.
just going to school and stuff. And thankfully, I had a few people helping me out throughout the way, some classmates.
Uh-huh.
But you got your typical kids who were, like, oh, you don't know shit, blah blah.
Uh-huh.
Good luck, kid, or whatever, man. It was tough at first, and it did take me probably 2.5 years before I got a solid grasp. And then from there, then yeah, I didn't have any issues. I mean, I still have some issues from time to time just because of my accent. I have a few issues pronouncing some words, but yeah, like that's like I don't have an issue with that anymore, man.
Well, we'll take it from an English teacher, but the English language is really stupid. Like
It is.
it's like a retarded language. It really is.
Like,
It's like
why do you
makes
guys,
no
I mean,
sense. It's just like a random like it's like
yeah.
it's like the Mugen of languages.
Seriously, like why are there words that sound the same for like 5 different things? Like two. That's 3 different words.
That option select is that linguistic option selects.
It is, man. It's like I want that too, and you're like two, like TOO, or like number 2, or
So
it's like
so when you moved to Houston, did you like immediately jump into like what arcades do you remember sort of,
oh man, I never
going to when you
actually
were
never actually played arcades here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Well, yeah, actually no. I'm sorry. I'll take that back. The washaterias. You know what that is?
No, what are
Okay.
those?
Well, here in the Houston. I mean, I'm not sure if any other states have them or if they call that way. They're pretty much where you go wash your clothing.
Oh, laundromats.
Laundromats. Thank you. Well, but here you see them all the time called washaterias.
Washaterias. Okay.
Yeah, washaterias. I don't know
I like
why.
it.
I have no. I mean, I understand that.
We have to.
It's where
we,
you're gonna
we,
buy. I mean, wash your clothing. So the laundromats and
how would you spell that? Washateria. How would you spell that?
washateria. Give me a second.
Like that.
WASHA.
WASHATA.
DARI. And
Washateria. Tarea. Okay.
Washateria.
Oh, okay. We need to hashtag that.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Washateria.
After the H is an E. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So it's Washateria. Okay, I got it.
Washateria.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, it's laundromats. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Either one of those two will work. I mean, it's the same. It's yeah.
Like cafeteria, but for washing. That's what K-Rex said.
So I remember that when we just got here, we didn't really have our own washer and dryer.
Mm-hmm.
So we will go to a washateria, and I remember that I was like, "What the hell is a washateria? You know, what do you do there?"
Mm-hmm.
And my mom's like, yeah, it's when we're gonna wash our clothing." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So when I got there, the first thing I noticed was like, "Oh, arcade machines. Let me see what they got." And the ones that I used to go to would have KI2
Mm-hmm.
or one of those what's it called, shooting games like 1948 or I can't remember the other ones, but usually we have something like that. And I would play KI for a while until everything was done. And those were the first ones I ever encountered when I got here in to the US, because I had no idea what was around here.
Mm-hmm.
Like are there arcades? Do you guys play this stuff or what? Um, Besides that, that's the only times I ever played arcade machines. Every time we go to a washateria, that's the only times we will go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the only times I will play. Sorry, arcade machines. And I would always see Metal Slug, or you will see the Neo Geo cabinets that have like 3 games in it.
Yeah, the multi systems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, this is so cool. And we didn't have those in Mexico, man. Like that thing blew my mind.
Uh-huh.
I was like, what? 3 games in one? Like, how are they doing this? And I remember that if I was losing one game, I would just play the other.
Uh-huh.
And I remember that that's the first time I encountered Samurai Showdown.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, whoa, this game is cool. But I always stated the fact that when you would hit someone, it would slow down. So I was thinking, like, man, this isn't for me. I don't like this one. This thing sucks. So I would go back to either Metal Slug or whatever shooting game they had. And if we go to the other one, was KI.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always those 2 things. And it wasn't until I had, so for example, I found out about Dave and Buster's and stuff, but that's a different type of arcade place,
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like it's gonna have what we want, which is fighting games or shooting games or whatever, a different type of arcade stuff. And yeah, so I didn't really. The only thing I could play was my Nintendo 64 that I had at home, but you didn't really have fighting games for that, so it was either like Smash Bros or Star Fox or whatever it was.
GoldenEye.
Oh man, thank you for reminding me of GoldenEye. Man, the multiplayer in that was so fun, man.
Dude, I don't care what anyone says. GoldenEye, the best N64 game.
It was. Hey man, just give me Odd Job and I'm good.
Some of the Star Wars games were good too. But,
yeah, they were actually. Yeah, you're right. What's it called? Where was it? One where you play as that bounty hunter? I keep forgetting the name.
Yeah,
it has like a stormtrooper on the cover of it. It was really good.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't a long time before I actually play any other arcades. I was always on console when I was here.
Mm-hmm.
I had my golden arcade years in Mexico, unfortunately.
So
never got him here.
So when did you? So obviously it's a Third Strike podcast, so we got to get to Third Strike eventually.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I know.
When did you? No. I could talk to you about video games forever, but But when was the first time you ever remembered seeing Third Strike? Not necessarily playing it,
dude,
but just
I love telling this story.
Okay,
I mean,
great.
I'm sorry, it's not gonna be that great, but for me, I still remember like it happened yesterday, and I'm sorry for the excitement. It's just I really like it. It's just that I don't know if you ever. Back a few years ago, combo videos, it's not like you could see them anywhere like nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And there were only a few websites that would have a specific content which was just geared towards combo videos. And there was a website called combovideos.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that I stumbled across that website because I was just looking up fighting games. And I don't remember how I came across, but I think that's what it was. And I was just going through all their content, and they had a section that said like most voted content. And then I click on the top one, and it was Third Strike video, but I didn't know it was Third Strike back then. I just knew it was Street Fighter because it had Chun Li, and then the other character was Hugo. But I was like, who the fuck is this huge motherfucker playing against Chun Li? And I came later to find out it was Hayao, the Hugo player, and it was just him versus a Chun Li and Osinoko. I think that was a Chun Li player. And I remember that what got me about that video was that on the second round, he only had a pixel of health, and then Chun Li does SA2. Then he parries the first set of kicks, and then he does Gigas right in between the other set. And I was thinking like, yo, that's awesome. Like, how did he do that? Like how do you how like does he have to block, or does he have to? Is that a special move? What is that? And then I saw that video like at least 10 times before I was like, I need to find out which Street Fighter this is. And then I came to find out it was Third Strike, and then I was like, whoa, I didn't realize there were this many Street Fighters since ST2, because I only know about ST2, the first ST2. And I remember that.
You're talking about hyper fighting, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Not Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
No. Yeah, like Street Fighter 2, like Champion or whatever, you know. Yeah. And I didn't know all the other updates on it. And I didn't know they had already released Street Fighter 3, you know, New Generation, Second Impact. I just came across this video by pure chance. But I had to play this game. When I saw that, I was like, I have to play this damn game. It just looks awesome. Like the sounds, the animation, the supers, the hits, everything just looked awesome on it. And I was thinking, man, I hope this guy, the grappler, is top tier. I mean, I was just thinking all kinds of stuff. And I was looking for it online, see if I could buy it, if you could find it. And I remembered that the 15th anniversary collection was just coming out for the first Xbox. And I was like, I need to get it. I don't care how much it is. I want this game. And then that's the very first time I actually got my hands on Third Strike. And
so you were an Xbox warrior. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I still am. I mean, I still prefer it, but you know, the exclusive hasn't been that well. But anyways, that's just another thing. I tried playing that on pad and I couldn't. And then I was actually started with Akuma after I found out that with Hugo you need to do 360s, and I couldn't do him on pad. So I was thinking I'm gonna try another character, and then Akuma just felt it feels awesome to play Akuma, so I went with him. But you know, I couldn't play with anyone. I just practiced whatever I saw in combo videos and stuff. But I still liked the game. It wasn't until a few years later when I actually met a few friends and actually started going to PC. And then that's when I got introduced to arcade sticks, or you know, at least the arcade layout for fighting games. You know, a bit like the Japanese one, because in Mexico you have the American layout. You know, and so here's when I first got introduced to the sound walls, button, stuff like that. I was so desperate on buying like something like an arcade stick that I bought those Pelican controllers. I don't know if you remember them, but they were like this bulky Pelican arcade sticks that they released for the Xbox and PS2. Man, they were so bad, but that's all I had. So I practiced with that.
So there were no Third Strike arcade cabs in the Houston area, or like you don't remember seeing Third Strike anywhere like at a Washateria?
I remember seeing New Generation in the Greenspoint Mall, aka Guns Point, but for some reason I just brushed it off because I didn't like on the demo. It has Alex and Dudley if you just go by it. And I was thinking like, oh, I wonder what this is, and then I just brushed it off. It wasn't until later on that I realized that was Street Fighter 3. So I was playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 during that time, and there were like at least 3 cabinets on the Greenspoint Mall there. So that's what I was playing. It wasn't really Third Strike that I was playing too much because, like I said, I didn't know where to play it besides my home. So that was really it.
So Xbox, like the first Xbox, those were like the dark ages of net play, right? Like you could play online with the original Xbox, couldn't you?
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't really that savvy
Okay.
on that, so I didn't know if you could play with that. But yeah, you could. Yeah, you definitely could on the first one.
Wow, man, that net play must have been horrible.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't. I'm actually wondering how bad it was. Not that you mentioned it. Probably
Yeah,
like what 5 frame delay.
yeah, probably something like that. So I think now's a good time to take our first break. But when we get back, I wanted to ask you, Kage, how do you sort of got introduced to the fighting game community, right? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of how you got into the tournament scene. But in the meantime, we're gonna no one on the north side could afford broadband. That's what Nero says.
Yeah, hey man, even back then it was expensive as hell, you
Oh, I
know.
bet, right? I bet.
Yeah, even just dial-up was like, holy crap, you have dial-up? That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right.
I mean,
So
sure. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't really a. I didn't start off as a Street Fighter player. I
Mhm.
started off as a Smash Bros. Melee player.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to that, and
Yeah,
we'll definitely talk about that when we get back from the break.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it is. I mean, if you really want to know, yeah, I can tell you everything. But yeah, I started off with Smash Melee,
Okay.
and that's then from there, I knew a friend that knew people from the fighting game community, and then after that, it took off, man. And like the rest is
The
history.
rest is history. So, well, we'll get it.
Yeah,
We'll be getting back. We'll be getting into that history when we come back from our first break. But in the
sure.
meantime, guys, you're watching the Mutant Experience podcast. Tonight, I got my guest, Houston Third Strike player Kage, and we'll be back with some more podcasts. So don't go anywhere, guys. How's it going, guys? Mutant XP here with more Mutant Experience podcast with my special guest tonight, Kage, aka BigNasty, aka Caesar. So, during the break, Caesar had alluded to a story about his handle. So you actually prefer to go by BigNasty, right?
Yeah,
which is pretty funny. That must mean you're a pro wrestling fan.
No,
Come on, no, it doesn't.
I can tell you why I go by BigNasty.
Okay, well, tell me the story about the Kage first. Like, what happened with what's up with the Kage?
The Kage thing is I remember that's what I handled. That a close friend of mine, his name is Jesus. I mean, shout outs to him. He likes Third Strike. Like, he really likes everything about the game, but he's, how can I say it without sounding like an asshole? he wants to practice it more, but he doesn't really get the time. So when he plays, he always gets like demolished. But he still likes the game, you know. So what happened was that his handle is always Kage, but when I met him, I always call him Cage because I didn't know he was referencing Naruto Kage stuff. So I would always call him Cage. And eventually one time he told me, like, it's not Cage, it's Kage, right? And I go like, oh, I'm sorry. So on the past showdowns, I told him like, I'm gonna enter, and he said, you better take that, okay? You better take the whole tournament. And he said, like, why don't you enter? And he says, nah, because I'm probably gonna go 0-2, and I probably won't ever make it to the top or top 3 or whatever. And I told him, I'll do you a favor, I'll go by Kage, and that way your name will be immortalized.
It is forever. Immortalized because I'm probably gonna continue calling you Kage, and everyone's gonna call you Kage. Kage, aka BigNasty.
Yeah, and then I was like, sorry, man, you can no longer be Kage, man. I'm Kage now.
Yeah, you are Kage now. Sorry, but you do, but you do like BigNasty though.
Yeah, well, BigNasty actually is the reason I go by that is because I used to work at a Dairy Queen.
Okay.
And this coworker of mine, she told me one time. She just asked me, "What's worse? What is worse, being called a freak or being called nasty?" And I told her, "Well, dude, if you're a freak, you do anything. So hell no, freaks is worse." And then she said, "No, being nasty is like being called nasty is worse." And then we just had a big argument about what was worse. So we couldn't get into an agreement. And then she just told me, you know what? I'm just gonna start calling you BigNasty because you're just a nasty mofo and you'll do anything. And I was like, you know what? I actually like that nickname. So, you can start calling me that if you want. And then from there, I was like, you know what? That actually sounds like a tournament handle I would use. And then from then on, I just started using it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I just like that. If I'm going to go to a tournament, I just want to have fun. So it's just like, it's whatever, man. Like, I just go with that. And with Kage, it's just to mess with my friend. Like, the only times your name is going to appear in top 3 is if I'm using it. So,
snap.
I hope you don't mind. Yeah, I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, he's not Kage anymore. You are now Kage.
You're right. I told him that too. Kage. You're not Kage anymore.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to ask you later about streaming and whether or not you'd be interested in streaming in the future. But if you are gonna
get to that eventually,
if you are gonna stream, it's gonna have to be Kage, right? Or you can combine them, right? BigNasty Kage. You could be BNK, right? BigNasty Kage.
I'm gonna be like, hey man, I saw you on stream the other day, man. What's up?
Yeah, I immediately thought you were a wrestling fan. Oh
no, man! It was just an argument between 2 coworkers, and we couldn't agree to it. And she just gave me that nickname, and I just stuck with it.
Because BigNasty is the nickname for Kevin Nash. He was this tall wrestler. He used to go by Diesel in the WWF, and then he switched to another company, and he went by BigNasty.
No wonder someone else. I can't remember who else told me that once. Just like, you like wrestling, right? And I go, no, why?
Yeah, BigNasty Kevin Nash. Right? I'll show you a footage of it right here. Oh,
Nah,
we
it
gotta.
wasn't because of that.
Yeah, so there's this is Kevin Nash. That's BigNasty right there.
Oh yeah. It was Nero who asked me. Yeah.
Yeah, too sweet.
I might have to wear a headband next tournament, man.
Oh yeah, you should. The Kevin Nash look, I like it. But
Yeah, I was wearing my hair out, but I had to cut it.
yeah.
It would have been perfect.
Oh my gosh, the jackknife power bomb. Oh my god, no, not through the table. No. Oh no. That's the Big
Hey,
Nasty
man,
right there.
that was the OG Alex, man.
This is the OG Alex. You know, you use Alex too, right? Sort of. Yeah. Yeah, I like that jackknife on Goldberg. It's pretty sick. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh man.
The power bomb.
That power bomb. So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about how you got into like the FGC. When did you like learn that hey, there are people who play this like competitively in tournaments?
Oh,
and stuff, like...
sure, man. It's just sorry if I ramble a bit too
No,
much.
no,
I mean,
man. Rambling is good.
Yeah.
Rambling's good in the podcast.
So like I was saying earlier, I started as a Smash Bros. Melee player more than anything, and this was back in high school, in my 10th grade, and I was playing it, and I didn't know there was a competitive scene for it until one time I stayed over after school, and there were people playing Melee, and I met my friend. His name is Josh. He goes by Excella. And he introduced me to everything about the game, the technical, the scene, what to do. Because otherwise, I was a complete scrub. I didn't know anything. And then at first, when he was trying to tell me what to do, I was thinking, I was being such an ass. I was thinking like, who is this asshole trying to tell me how to play? Like, like get off, man. I know what I'm doing.
Is it there a Smash player named Kage?
Yeah, that's my friend.
That's him. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's him. All right.
I mean, I'm not sure if it's the same Kage, but I know there is a Kage. I mean, my friend who
this guy
plays Melee is Kage, but I'm not sure if it's the same one you're talking about.
Is it this guy? No, I don't know. Is it this guy? Let me find a.
It's been a while since he last played. So it might be someone else.
Is it this guy? No. Kage the Warrior? No. Probably not, right? That's not him.
No, that's not him. Nah.
Well,
nah,
I guess there are a lot of Kage players.
There is a lot of Kages. No, my friend who was Kage as well. He also played Melee, and that's how I also met him.
Okay.
Through Melee. But yeah, so I played for a few playing Melee. I never brought up anything else because I didn't know if Josh knew anything else besides Melee. But then one time I went over to his house, and then I met his brother, his name is. Well, he likes to go by different names. I know him by Swavian, Ku. Everybody knows him by, like, a lot of people here know him by Swavian. And I met him, and then he would always like to play Melee, but he never took it seriously. And then he told me that what he played was Street Fighter or whatever, like, other fighting game there was. And then he's the one who started introducing me to the fighting game scene, because I told him, this was a time when I was already messing with Third Strike, and he introduced me to Guilty Gear, more technical Third Strike, and what was the other one? He also told me about Tekken, but he if I remember correctly, he didn't play Tekken. So one time I told him, like, dude, I'm trying to get really good at Third Strike. Like, what can I do? Like, you guys playing somewhere? And that's when he told me, yeah, there's an arcade called Planet Zero in downtown Houston. They always have They always have like a casual tourney on I think it was a Tuesday or Thursday. I can't remember which day. And then that's when I went to an arcade, like an actual arcade here in Houston for the first time. And then that's when I saw First Strike on an arcade for the first time too. I was thinking, whoa, like this game, it looks even more awesome in person. And I was thinking, but why are the joysticks so different? Like, why is it a ball top? I'm used to like being in like a lever, the American style. Yeah, exactly. So he said, well, yeah, dude, this is where you're gonna have to come if you want to get good, because this is where everybody comes to play and level up. and then that's when Planet Zero. Planet Zero, yeah. I mean, it's closed down already, but that's where everybody used to go to play Third Strike. If you guys, if you didn't wanna, if nobody met up at someone's place, that was where everybody went to level up. And I remember that the first time I ever played, going from pad to stick was just so hard. I even told him like, dude, how do you play on this? It's so trying to do Shoryuken, Hadouken, anything feels so weird. And it's funny because I mean, I've been playing on arcade machines for before, but then trying to do like a specific command was so difficult. And that's when I got introduced to the FGC, and then I've met a few people. Then I started, asking them, "Do you guys meet up somewhere? Do you guys play anywhere else?" And yeah, I met a few people. We played. I didn't really go to tournaments because it was difficult for me to go around and stuff. But yeah, and that's also how I got introduced to Guilty Gear, and I was playing Guilty Gear and Third Strike like nonstop when I actually started getting adjusted to arcade sticks. Um, because I still couldn't play them on. I tried on pad and I was okay, but I wanted to actually play good on an arcade machine. And yeah, after that, like I said, the rest is history. I just started going to more casual. Started going to people's places, play more, and then I will go from tournaments from time to time. Not too much, just because, like I said, it was just sometimes hard for me to take the day off or find reliable transportation. But I would still play it whenever I could. And then actually, I took a break a few years, and then I just recently came back not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it.
So, tell me a little bit about your character choice, because you're, like I said, your kind of claim to fame is that you like using the beefy men in Third Strike, right? You like using the beefy guys. You like Alex.
Guys,
You like Alex. You like Hugo. You like Urian. They're that's the beef. So why is that? Like, why do you like using these big beefy dudes?
Well, Hugo's, like I said, it was because of that video.
Right. Yeah.
Because of the video, I mean, that's how I fell in love with the character. He just looked awesome. I mean, like the sound effects, the way he hit, his specials just look cool. Alex is because I mean the character just looks cool. He sucks. I mean, the character he's not that great, but like the way I choose my characters is like who looks badass or who looks like he can wreck shit. That's how I choose my characters. Like who looks like he could wreck shit if you pick them. And that was how I decided to pick Alex, just because he can be fun. And he's a rushdown. I like doing rushdown with some characters, so that's why I picked him. And Urine, I mean, come on, like the dude fucking tackles you, and he throws mirrors at your face. Like that's cool. Of course, I'll be playing that guy, and that's how I picked him. And also because of his unblockables and all that, he's a really fun character. And Alex, like I said, he can be fun if you get things going, and he can wreck your shit really quick. And Hugo is just, I know he's hard, but whenever you win, it feels so satisfying,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's so satisfying when I'm like, man, I parried like 3 things and got my 360 or my 720, and I won my round, or my patience paid off. He's just really satisfying to win with. That's really why it's the reason I stuck playing with him for so long. And of course, because, oh my God, walking 720, like whatever, stuff like that, pretty much.
So when you started getting really serious about Third Strike, can you sort of explain for me, like, sort of like your approach to the game in terms of how you learned it and how you got better? Like did you just stick with Hugo, for the longest time, or did you dabble with other characters? I mean, like, how would you describe the process that you underwent in terms of learning the game?
That is a good question. So, like I said, when I started, I tried playing Hugo, but I couldn't because I was playing on pad. I couldn't do his stuff on pad, so I went with I felt like it was more easier with Akuma, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll stick with him for now and see what I do. And I just played with him until like I said, I went to the arcade Planet Zero, and then I found out that there was an outlet for me to actually try to get serious with the game. and then that's when I, decided if I'm gonna try to be serious in this game, I think I'm gonna want to actually play Hugo because that's who I was really interested on. And the
Sorry,
way
go
I
ahead.
did is just like I saw videos, of course, Hayao, YSB, and I just got some habits from them. I will try to practice it if I could. And I will try that on arcades. I will ask my friends, what am I doing wrong? Why am I so free? What can I do better? And the one thing Swabin would always tell me would be, are you comfortable playing with stick yet? And then and I would tell him, well, somewhat. And then he goes, well, first learn that, be comfortable playing what you're gonna be playing on. Then once you're comfortable with that, then yeah, start trying to do more advanced stuff. And then that's how I started. I felt like I was getting better. And then I tried doing once I got the hang of what I was gonna play with, then I was thinking, okay, the way I do it, if I lose, I will go, why did I do wrong in this match, or what could I have done to avoid getting my feet clipped so many times, or whatever. How can I avoid the mix-up, stuff like that. And it is I mean, you're gonna have to get you're gonna have to get your stuff bit in a lot of times before you get good. It's just a process.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that there were some times that I would get so mad. You're like, dude, this is annoying. Like, I'm trying to do the best, and I keep getting my shit like bit in and stuff. And uh, eventually, I had to take a break, but I was like, no, I really want to get better. So, like I said, I would think, what am I doing wrong? And then I'm gonna try this. Oh, this is working. I'm gonna keep doing it. Stuff like that. And then but there are eventually some matchups that are just really, really hard, no
Mm-hmm.
matter how good you're trying to play. I mean, the Akuma versus Hugo matchup can be so unbearable. Like, I'm just gonna keep fireballing, poke you here and there, air, hurricane kick, whatever, And we can too, EX Tatsumaki. That's so cheap, man, against Hugo. It's so cheap.
Well, you mean just Tatsumaki, like Goki's Tatsumaki?
EX air Tatsumaki,
Oh, the
like the
air
cross up.
Tatsumaki. Oh, you mean
Yeah,
for
you
with
know
the
how it
can,
crosses up?
yeah.
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 And matchups like that, when people are playing that way, it's so unbearable sometimes. I'm here, and that's when I started thinking, I think I need to play another character where I think I need to handle certain matchups better.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like against cans who play really thoroughly, I usually play Uren or Alex. It just depends how I think they're still gonna be playing. So really thoroughly matchups, I just play Uren. That's when I
Mm-hmm.
had to realize, like, yeah, I think I need to play another character just so I can get through these certain matchups or certain players. Because everybody plays a certain way. Not everybody's gonna play the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's another reason why I started picking up other characters. Because otherwise, I would just stick with Hugo probably. But yeah, some matchups are just too hard. I mean, against Selena, God, that matchup is just so bad. It's so annoying. I mean, everything she throws, it seems to hit him
Mm-hmm.
like
Well,
really late or out of nowhere.
what's your favorite matchup?
Favorite matchup?
Yeah, like what's the matchup that you love to play against Hugo?
Against Hugo or like any character?
Like if you're using Hugo,
If I'm using Hugo, which I think is really fun.
Yeah.
Uh, Funny enough, I like the Urine versus Hugo matchup
Mm-hmm.
and the Dudley versus Hugo matchup.
Okay.
And funny enough, I do use Hugo versus Akuma sometimes, just because, like I said, when you win against Akuma, who's playing really thoroughly,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, man, that was so satisfying, like winning that. And they were trying to do all like, stay away, don't touch me. And yeah, but yeah, usually the most I like is like the Urine versus Hugo and Dudley versus Hugo. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just because, like with Dudley, he has so many stuff that you can parry
Mm-hmm.
or you can grab. I just like that one too. And you're in the same. It's just, if you use a Giga, it's not like he can just throw the mirror out anytime he wants either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just those two. I will say with those two are my favorite ones.
Yeah, you seem like the kind of player, Caesar, that likes a challenge. Like
I do.
I feel like, I don't know. Like I feel like that's a dying breed in the FGC, especially in the third strike scene. Like I applaud players that like challenges, because you know challenges and having to deal with something difficult, that's how you get better, right? It's not
Yeah,
all
exactly.
about winning and stuff. And so, you know I,
Well, and I also feel that if you're playing a character that's really handicapped and
mhm,
you can overcome certain challenges, like for example, when I go from Hugo to Urine,
mhm,
and like you have so many options that you're thinking, damn, I can do this instead of that. When if I had Hugo, I only had to block.
mhm,
So in a way, I feel like it helps you really think about what you're doing as well.
mhm,
It's not like you can just throw stuff out and it'll work. Like with some characters like Dudley, who sometimes he can just throw his standing heavy kick and go into EX machine gun blow, just throw it out and it works sometimes. Yeah, with Hugo, it's not like you can just throw out his medium kick because it's so slow, and then if someone's already jumping, you're gonna get punished.
mhm,
So you gotta be more careful what you're doing with those characters. So I feel like it's also a good way to level up.
mhm.
But like, it's not just me though.
Well, one of the things that sort of stood out to me when I first saw you play 2 years ago at Texas Showdown 2017 was just your patience. You're just so patient. It
You
was
have to.
you almost. It's like you almost outpatient. You almost like outpatient Chris G. Like, and that guy's patient. And I couldn't help but have a little pride when you guys were playing, because Chris G, he grew up in New York, and he started playing Third Strike with the CF, the
Mhm.
Chinatown Fair crew, which
Mm.
and I used to go to Chinatown Fair, and so like he's kind of like the CF product, right? And it was really
Yeah.
cool to watch him play you, because talk about patience. And like, if you can open Chris G up, then you can open anything up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I really wanted to play one, but I didn't get a chance. I really
yeah,
wanted to play him, but
yeah.
maybe some other time.
Seriously, seriously. So so with Hugo, right? Like, another thing that you said that I think I touched on in a previous podcast is like, when certain players, when they main certain characters, like, you know you learn certain habits.
Hmm.
And I feel like because you made Hugo, you learned like really good habits. You don't when I watch you play, you don't really do anything risky, because and you really bide your time, and you really take the time to kind of read your opponent, and that was really impressive. you know
Uh, and yeah, I agree with you. It's just like I said. That's what I'm talking about. You explained it better than I did, and thank you for that. That's what I meant by you playing a character that's handicapped against a player that's can have so many options, just do whatever.
Mhm,
That's what I meant. Like you with Hugo, I had to play a certain way, where just like I just can't throw anything out. I had to think more thoroughly about what I'm doing, and then
mhm,
when I go back to Urine, I'm thinking I still have that mindset, but now I have more options to punish stuff, to combo into things, to do better footsies or mix up. But I feel like it's thanks to me playing Hugo that I was able to get that type of mentality.
yeah. No,
Yeah, it's just
seriously,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, like, a really good Hugo is so scary.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
wow.
I seen a few, and with him, you just need to know how to parry though. Like that's a requirement. You
Yeah,
just can't skip that. You just can't skip
yeah.
that.
But it's not just knowing how to parry, but knowing what to parry,
Exactly, you're right.
and
Yeah,
knowing when to
what to
parry.
parry. Hmm.
There's a lot of times when, like, you really shouldn't parry, but then there are a lot of times when you really should. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and obviously you learn that, by playing the game and grinding, and playing other characters and stuff. Like, who do you like? You know, not to like put you on the spot or anything, but
No,
like,
no, no.
who do you think in Houston kind of like is like, what would you say is the tier list in Houston Third Strike, like, in terms of players?
Players.
Like who's the tier list? Like, who's the best Houston Third Strike player, and then all the way on down. Like, what do you think? And
Oh
you
shit.
can include yourself. It's okay. but
Oh
but
damn,
what do you think? What do you think?
that's damn. I think that's tough. I mean, I definitely think Jesse's like the best one in
Okay.
Houston. In Houston, I mean, if you're taking Houston, yeah,
Yeah,
Jesse
just Houston.
definitely.
Yeah.
Because every time I play him, he is back and forth, but then there's days where he just wrecks my shit like
Hmm.
nonstop.
Hmm.
And I'm here to be like, damn, dude, like what? Like, were you in the like on the hyperbolic time chamber or some shit? Like last
Hmm.
time I played, you weren't like wrecking my shit this bad.
Hmm.
And then I think after that, uh, I guess I'll say me. I guess
Okay.
um, it's because the my thing with Houston players here is like. And
Uh
like I said, I don't
oh.
mean disrespectful for anyone. It's just that I think we have a lot of talent here
Hmm.
because I've seen a lot of players that they do like good, and then they just for some reason like on critical moments they drop a combo or they didn't know what to punish stuff like that. But their basics seems to be there. So what I see a lot of players in Houston is that uh I think if we had a bit more serious players or like with we had a bit more people playing a bit more serious, we would be they would be like really really good.
Hmm.
But like I said, I don't mean disrespect for anyone. It's just that I understand maybe you have too much work or that's not your main game. It's just your side game, and you just play from time to time. But I see it. I mean, I see the talent in the city, and I just like I said, I like the game, and I just want more people to play it. But it's just what I want. I mean,
Well, well,
it's not gonna happen sometimes. But I guess after me and
well.
Jesse.
Okay. Go ahead.
Uh, Nero has gotten really good too. I
Uh-huh.
mean, the last time I played, he's gotten good too. I mean, he's streaming a lot and
Hmm.
gotten pretty solid. Uh, Mark, he's good too, but that's that's with Mark. Like I can see it that he can do it, but I mean, I'm not sure if this is his main game or he just plays it from time to time.
Hmm.
Um, what was the other one? Surprisingly, Crow, who's a Tekken player, he was actually doing pretty well last time I played him, but I know that's not his main game. Uh,
Well, Crow's an
Dang.
old school Houston player.
Yeah, he's OG, man. He's OG as you can get in this scene. But I didn't know he was playing Third Strike. Like last time I saw him at Neos, he was playing Third Strike, and I played him. Jaywin. Okay, so Jaywin, I don't know if you know him. He
Hmm.
usually plays Yang.
Yeah.
Uh, he's good, man. He every time I play on tournaments and I have to come across him, I'm always dreading it because he knows how to push me around. Like I think he already got a good grasp of my habits.
Yeah.
So I think I will put him after him. I think I will put J Wing after me.
Hmm.
Because he's good. I think he just needs to polish a bit more. And yeah, easily he'll be like someone to be you really can't mess with too much.
Hmm.
And I'm sorry, but I can't remember the name of other few players, unfortunately. But yeah, I will say Jesse, me, J Wing, Nero, Mark, and then there's some other. Oh, sorry. There's this Urine player. I can't remember his name. Um, he always plays Papa Smurf color,
Well,
and I
Nero's in
just
the
can't remember.
chat. Maybe he remembers the name.
Yeah, he always plays Urine, but all he does is like what's it called? He plays Urine, but he plays it really thoroughly. And every time I play him, I'm like, I had to play Urine. Like he's gonna time me out. Uh, yeah. So I would put Jesse, me, Jaywin, uh that Urine player, Nero, Mark, and then the rest of the Houston players.
Hmm.
Cause I can't remember the other names unfortunately right now.
So you were saying, Caesar, that like you wish that players took the game more serious. Is that kind of what you were saying? Like that they played more seriously because you see the talent, you see the potential, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
like how would you get your players to play more seriously though? Like how like what do you think is necessary to bring that kind of commitment out or
we,
that
we
kind of
we just
effort
need
out?
more events really. That's the
Hmm.
only way you're gonna get more people to play.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been being fortunate enough to have people host them here. And I mean, I'm really grateful for that because otherwise, I don't think anybody else would play it. Maybe just from time to time
Hmm.
on some of the meetups and maybe online. Um, and really here in our area, we have really few events for that game.
Mhm.
Neil's did it a few times, but I'm not sure if they're gonna do it anymore.
So
But
you're referring to Neil's Bar, right?
yeah, Neil's Bar. Yeah, exactly.
Which is in downtown Houston, and
Exactly. Yeah.
they often they
Uh,
used to run Third Strike on OE, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, it's just really that's it. It's just like if there's gonna be a bans for that, and it's difficult to do it because it takes time and resources, and not everybody's willing to do it. And like I said, I'm grateful for the people who've taken their time in doing it.
Mhm.
Jesse, and everybody like you who did it on the other showdown as well. Uh, and I think that's really what it will take for more people to take it more serious. I will say that there's more constant events for it.
Mhm.
Because when I was find out that they were hosting it at Neil's, and then I was able to have more weekends off. Then that's when I decided, oh, they're gonna have Third Strike. I think I'm gonna take it a bit more serious now.
Mhm.
Because I was just playing occasionally from time to time, but then I found that out and I was thinking, yeah, I think I'll pick it up a bit more serious now. But you know, it could be a factor things, but I think that's really the main reason. Because if there's a lot going on for a certain game, you'll make time for it.
Mhm.
If you really like the game enough, you'll make time for it.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is, and well, like I said, it's just hard to do. It's not like you can just say like, yeah, I'm just gonna host this right quick, and then see you next month or next
Mhm.
2 weeks or whatever. But yeah, I think that's what it will take.
But sometimes that's all it takes, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes,
really,
like,
that's really all it takes.
especially if you're living like in a scene where there's really no Third Strike scene.
Yeah,
Sometimes it
and
takes that one person, right, to just kind of go, okay, you know what? I'm gonna run something.
yeah, and you know what? It's true. There's a Houston player here by the name Joe Strikes, I think that's his name.
Mhm.
Uh, he started hosting CBS2 on Fridays, and nobody else was doing that. And he kept doing it. He kept running them
Now he
nonstop.
now you're talking about Joe Strikes. He hosts those tournaments at the University of Houston, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's him. Yeah. Yeah. When he started, there wasn't that many people playing then, and now he always has people playing. Now
Mhm.
he was hosting tournaments. So it can be done. It's just you need to put your time into it, and like I said, you have to be willing to invest that. It's an investment, really.
Mhm.
And I don't mean that in investment as in monetary, like money. I'm talking about like
Just time, right?
time.
Mhm.
You're willing to drive.
Mhm.
You're willing to go there even if there's not gonna be that many people.
Mhm.
It takes passion.
Yeah, definitely,
And
definitely.
like I said, I'm grateful for people who've done it. Jesse, you guys, anybody else who's hosted. It's like I'll at this point, like I said, I'm grateful for I've been able to play.
Mhm.
And if there's something else going on, I mean, I'll be there to support it.
So have you noticed 30th anniversary, and we'll talk more about 30th anniversary
Mhm.
after we take our final break. But for now, I just wanted to ask you real quick. 30th anniversary has been out for what, a couple months.
Yeah.
So have you noticed any like new players like picking up Third Strike since 30th anniversary came out, like, or you know?
I mean, here in Houston, I'm not sure to be honest,
Mhm.
but I have seen people, for example, online.
Mhm.
What I've been noticing is when I open up Fightcade, just to see the chat, I see a lot of people saying, I want to pick up this game. And what they do is, um, they say the issue with 30 right now is that whoever's playing it, it's either really damn good,
Mhm.
or the issue with it is that, like I said, people are really too good, or they can find that many matches.
Mhm.
So I have seen people ask, I'm new at Third Strike, and I picked up 30th anniversary, but everybody's kicking my shit there.
Mhm.
So can you guys give me any tips, or can I play someone here who's new? So I have seen people pick that up because of it, but they're having a hard time getting into it because of the gap that's already established in the game.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's right. Fight is the saltiest. I mean, you're gonna see people that are like raging nonstop, and there are some nice apples there, but uh, I see a lot of people there asking how they can get better
Mhm.
because they want to get at it, and they knew the game because of 30th anniversary. But like I said, they're either not finding games or they're getting their shit kicked in.
Mhm.
But yeah. But to your answer, yes. I'm sorry. Short answer is yes. I have seen some people pick that up.
Oh, awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so before we go on our third and final break, I want to ask you a couple more potentially controversial questions here.
Oh shit.
So, apparently, apparently, I've in the last couple of years, I've gotten to know more about the history of the FGC in Texas,
Hmm.
and so obviously, when someone thinks Third Strike and someone says Texas, Houston isn't necessarily the first city that comes to mind, right? Usually, the first city that comes to mind when people talk about Third Strike in Texas is Austin.
Austin, yeah.
Obviously, the home of legendary Third Strike players like Mo Preem and Shen and Asian Hitler and
Yeah.
just the list goes on and on. Foo Barduck, obviously.
Hmm.
Shout outs to Foo Barduck for opening UFO. I don't know where he is now. I think he's in Asia living somewhere. But so shout outs to Foo Barduck. And then we have a new generation of Third Strike players in Austin, right?
Hmm.
We have Luke, we have Rico and Sheen, who just recently moved back to Japan, Shin, and K Reich. So, like, give me your honest opinion, Caesar. Like, who's who's the best right here in Third
I,
Strike right now?
I I'm I
What do
can't really
you?
say. Like the only people I ever played from Austin is Rico, um, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. He plays Akuma.
Luke.
Luke. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. With
Oh,
glasses, right?
Luke. Yeah, Luke.
Yeah, Luke. Man, Luke is fucking good.
Yeah.
Uh, I have only played Luke and Rico from Austin, so I can't really give a really good opinion, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I heard that you like the people in Austin are like really, really good, and like I said, I only got to play those two guys. But if that's the level gap, I mean, if that's like level skill over there, and supposedly they're better players than them, and I mean, no offense to them, then I'm here thinking like, damn, like I really need to play them because they seem
Uh-huh.
like if you go there, you get your they make you. It sounds like they'll make you look like a scrub if you go there. So I'm not sure, man. Like I'm not trying to dodge the question, but I really don't know. Like I never been to Austin, unfortunately, to play the Third Strike people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
but from details, I guess they might be a slight better than us.
well, because I'm just saying, at the Texas Showdown that I attended, I didn't see any Austin players in top three. You know what I mean?
Oh.
You know what I mean? And I know they were there. Again, I don't want to start anything. I'm not necessarily starting anything.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's just the only reason I mentioned that is because you're such a strong player, and you're right, Kage. Strong players playing other strong players makes everyone stronger, and so
Yeah.
I personally would like to see more interaction between the Austin players and the Houston players. In terms of like a healthy, friendly rivalry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because I think it benefits the entire state.
Yeah, and it's just like I feel that we need I mean competition breeds talent
Yeah,
because the more there is that wanting to get better, that's how you're gonna accomplish it really.
yeah. I mean,
And I'm
I
sorry,
know KD goes to arcade UFO tournaments every now and then.
I think
And he
he's going
brings
to one
people.
tomorrow. I think.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
but and again, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything. I'm sure you have. I'm sure there's reasons why you don't go, but I would love to see you at an arcade UFO tournament in the
Yeah,
near
I mean, believe me, I've
future.
been wanting to go. It's just I'm being honest with you here. It's just work issues.
Yeah, yeah. I understand,
Yeah,
man.
until
Real
until
life.
I can move out of my current job, weekends are pretty much
Uh huh.
non-existent for me right now. Like
Yeah.
I have to be there from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. or until 9 p.m.
Uh huh.
sometimes. So and then nobody wants to cover weekends. So they're all
Yeah.
like, every time I ask them, and they go, "I'll think about it," and then they never get it covered. So that's really
Yeah.
my issue with it right now. Just
Yeah.
being able to find reliably able to get weekends off. That's really just it.
Hmm.
And I don't mind the drive because it's just whatever, dude. It's just
Hmm.
like I want to play. That's all
Yeah.
I want.
Like,
So
once you
that's
get
whatever.
once you get out of Houston, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
The traffic to get out of Houston is worse than really anything else.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
really is, man. And sorry, just one more thing. I know it's getting off subject here, but I forgot to mention Alex. That's another player from Houston. He's really good, but I don't really see him too much on the scene. So I don't know if he's gonna see this, but I didn't forget Alex. Okay.
No, because
Right.
I would really like to see more regular competition between like a friendly. Like
Yeah,
I think the
believe me,
days of I think the days
believe me, I've
of
been wanting to go, man. I've
yeah.
been wanting to just whenever I find out, it's either like 2 days or the same week, and
Yeah.
then my work is always telling me, my boss, like, you should have told me 2 weeks in advance, or well, I can really cover you last minute. So
Uh-huh.
it's I need to find this out. I need to find out this better. So
Yeah.
it is a bit my fault too. So
No, I get it because you're such a good player, Kage, and and
no,
and,
thanks, man. I
and
appreciate it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think I'm okay. I mean, I let the
oh,
people be judges that, because I don't want to be like that egotistical. Like, yeah, man, I'm
yeah.
good. Like, let me pair your shirt right quick. Nah, it's just like,
No, there's no fluke. You can't. You don't get second at Showdown 2017 and get third in 2018. For nothing, right? Like there's something
appreciate it.
about the way you play. Like, you know, one of the things I wanted to kind of mention about your play is that it's not flashy, right? It's not necessarily too flashy, but you're just so solid. You know what I mean? And you're smart. I think people need to understand you got to be smart to be good in Third Strike. You
At least
know,
I'm fighting games. Yeah,
yeah,
you have to, man. You have to.
and you're just smart. And I really think that the UFO guys would benefit a lot from playing you more, and vice versa. You know.
Yeah, I really want to, man. I feel like if I go with them, I'll level up a lot, like a
Oh
lot.
yeah. Well, all of you
Yeah.
guys, will
So
level
I
up.
need to go. I definitely need to go.
Like earlier today, like I was at IFM because Frankie BFG he had called me and he said he was at IFM and he wanted me to come by, and so I went, and some other New York players were there. D-Tech, the Rage, Ahmed came, and we were sort of teasing Rage because Rage uses Ken, but he was originally a Remy main, and I always tell Rage, like, there's a reason I go hard on your Ken because I want you to drop that character.
I know, right?
Like, there's a
Exactly.
reason why when we play, I always want to murder your Ken. Like, I just want to embarrass your Ken because I want him to switch back to Remy because his Remy.
Yeah, no, you're
And,
right. Yeah,
and the
it's
thing
just
is, right?
self-love.
Yeah, and the thing is, right? It's not just for him, right? It's for me too. It's for everyone else in the scene because if he switches back to Remy, had he never switched to Ken and he just kept leveling up with Remy, who knows how godlike Rage's Remy would have been, you know?
Exactly.
And to be able to play a godlike Remy helps everyone else, Now we know how
Exactly.
to play that matchup, and
Yeah,
it's
like didn't it just happen at the recent SBO that some Remy player
yeah, Piero, aka Lucifer,
like,
he
right?
he
Yeah,
he wrecked the Third Strike All Stars.
exactly.
He
Yeah,
bodied Nuki. Oh my god, he destroyed Nuki. It was,
he demolished that team, man. I was like, whoa, that's too good.
you
And
know,
I
you
I,
know,
I I missed it. I only saw the replay.
and that's why, like, personally, I don't know how you feel about this, Kage, but like, I don't really like a lot of tier talk. In fighting games, especially in Third Strike. Like, people like to talk about tiers and stuff. Like, oh,
Mhm.
this character's top tier. Oh, this character's mid tier. This character's low tier. Like personally, I don't really like that kind of talk because it sometimes it tends to discourage players from picking their shit or picking characters. Like, you're fortunate
Mhm.
enough, right? Like, you saw Hugo, you fell in love with Hayao's Hugo, you stuck with him, because you like the challenge. You're sort of made up that way. But not everyone has that DNA, you know what I mean? And like they'll hear tears and they're like, I don't know if I want to use this character. He seems like everyone says he's low tier. And then it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when we talk about growing a scene and making it better, more character variety is obviously best, right?
Yeah, and it's just like, eventually gets stale. You're seeing the same characters,
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, here we go, three Chun-Li's top three or whatever, stuff like that. And yeah, I agree with it. I mean, it's just Third Strike is such a unique game
Hmm.
compared to other ones, just because of the way that the system works,
Hmm.
as in the parry
Yeah,
system
the
allows
parry.
certain the parry system allows certain
That's it.
characters to overcome,
Yeah.
their handicaps.
Uh-huh.
So with Third Strike, it's a completely different thing about with tiers. Of course, I mean there gonna be difficulties, but I know where you're coming from, because sometimes it does annoy me when people are just talking about tiers, and sometimes I just want to play who I really like, you know, from when I started.
Hmm.
So, and I think also sometimes if you just I used to just playing, let's say, like a certain type of, if you have certain mentality about characters, I think it hinders you sometimes, because for example, if you all you do is play top tiers, like, do you really know? Have you ever struggled with like any other type of characters? Like playing low tier is such a fucking struggle, man. It's just, but it's so rewarding though. Playing them. I like it.
Exactly.
For me, I like him. I like him.
I think that's where Third Strike is unique, right? Because
Yeah.
like I don't know, maybe it's just me and maybe I'm biased. Well, obviously I'm biased, but like the enjoyment you derive from winning is so amplified in Third Strike. Wouldn't you
It
agree?
is.
Right? Like
Yes.
it's so satisfying to win in Third Strike.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When sometimes I'm in Akuma and I'm thinking, fuck it, let's go with Hugo, man, and then you win,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
like I won that. Like
Yeah.
it's just satisfying. I mean, making the right reads, punishing teleport. Oh, I'm gonna teleport out the corner, and you're like, I know he's gonna do it, and then you punish it, and you're like, yeah, see, like that's satisfying.
Yeah.
It's those little things, hard read backbreakers,
Yeah.
buffer 720s, it's those little things. It just makes it satisfying, and when everything comes together and you actually win the match, uh, the feeling to me is just like it's worth it. It might be a struggle, but I like it.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like like if it would be one thing if like I was a Chun player and I was telling people, don't give up low tiers. Because then people might misconstrue that as, oh, I just want to win all the time.
I know.
But I'm a Necro main, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying Necro's bad, but he kind of is. But he's not the
Yeah, he has his
strongest.
issues, but
He is. There are some strengths, but so I understand from the other side, right? Like sometimes you just get tired of losing. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Like I said, some matchups can be really unbearable.
Uh-huh.
That's really why, like I said, that's why I started looking for other characters, just because I'm thinking, okay, I really want to play this character, but I also want to win.
Hmm.
So I'll try to stick with my main character as much as I can. But if for certain matches, I might switch, because I mean, if you see this last tournament, I did that a lot, and then I went back into the archive, and then I saw how people were going crazy. Like, why is he switching? Why is he going back and forth between characters? Why is he going SA1? Like, what's with all this random shit? And I'm here thinking, if there's gonna be cases where I am gonna switch to what I feel is gonna give me the best chance sometimes, because even though I want to be loyal to my character, I do want to get as far as I can in a tournament too.
Yeah, there is that,
Yeah.
right? There is that competitiveness. There is
that drive sometimes.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, dude, sorry, I might have to go with Uran this time.
There is that mentality, right? Win at all costs, right?
Exactly, like at all costs, man. But I won't stay. I won't steep to Chun-Li though. Hell no, fuck that. I do have a barrier where I won't go.
It's funny. Like I was using Chun earlier today. I was just
Yeah, Chun
and
is
like
so dumb.
she's not like I don't know. She's not very. I don't know. She's just not.
You can just do whatever, and it'll like somehow it'll work sometimes.
Well, I mean, against high level players, you can't do whatever. But even against high level
Yeah.
players, I just feel like the game plan is so. It's like
It is linear. It's really
it is really. It does seem very linear. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not a Chun main. if there are any Chun mains, I know Decoy, you're in the chat. You know, if you want to disagree with us,
Yeah, if you want to put us on blast, please.
yeah, put us on blast. But it does seem very linear. Anyway, but you know what? But Chun serves a purpose in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chun serves a purpose. She's like the final boss, right? She's the one that teaches you certain things about your character.
She's the Omega ruler of this game, man.
You know, so she's like the Golden State Warriors of basketball, dude. You know. But anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and take our second and final break. But when we come back, Caesar, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about your thoughts on 30th anniversary.
Sure.
And I also wanted to ask you, you know, what are some of your personal goals, you know, as a player, you know, in terms of, you know, upcoming tournaments, or maybe you have bigger aspirations than that, at least in Third Strike. And then, of course, everyone's favorite segment on the podcast, Pack It Up, is coming up. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back with more Mutant XPerience podcasts in a few minutes. All right, guys, welcome back for more Mutant XPerience podcast, episode 26. Special guest today, Kage, aka BigNasty, aka Caesar. Very strong Hugo, Alex, Urian player. So, Caesar, I wanted to ask you a little bit. About kind of switching gears here, but but obviously, it's been a pretty tough time for Houston, the city. In terms of natural disasters and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of wanted to ask, how was that for you? In terms of,
You're talking about like after the flooding and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was one of the very lucky few to not get affected by it. And I do mean lucky because it was starting to flood right behind where I live.
Oh wow.
So it stopped raining right when it was getting flooded behind my house. And the reason why I was freaking out was because it has gotten flooded here in Houston before a couple times, but never that bad. So we weren't gonna be sure if our area was gonna get flooded. So when it happened, and we were like, "Oh, nothing's gonna happen," and then when we started noticing how bad it was getting from center to the outside, we were starting actually worried. So we had to leave. We left the house and we went a bit more up north, and then luckily we didn't get flooded. And after that, the way it affected me though was that since no one could go into work, I was the only one that was closest to work without being flooded around to get to the job. So of course I was there.
So you had to go to work.
but the thing is that I was there for 2 days straight. Yeah, I was there for like almost 48 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and since it's a hospital, my boss told me like, if you need to take a snap or you need to shower or anything, just go to the floor and do that and then come back to the office.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty much that's what I did. I was there for 2 hours. I mean, 2 hours, 2 days.
Wow.
And then,
must have been crazy there in the hospital. Must have been.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody else who couldn't go back home had to stay there. So, everyone was thinking like, man, I want to go back home. I'm tired of sandwiches, whatever they have to eat. And, I want my bed or whatever. That was the one time I wanted a futon so bad, man. I was thinking I should have bought that. I should have bought one and bring it over here. And that's really it. But besides that, my car was fine. I didn't lose anything. My family was fine. So, like I said, we were very lucky that nothing really bad happened to us. And sorry, I have a lot of collectible stuff here in my room. So I was thinking, man, if it floods, I'm going to lose everything. So,
yeah,
that was what I was worried about.
Flooding sucks.
Yeah, that was it, really. Thanks for asking, though.
I had another question, and it was kind of going back to the whole arcade UFO versus Houston thing. So, if there's one, and again, anyone who's listening, feel free to use this idea, or maybe people might want to make it happen at the next major, UFO event. But if there was one player from arcade UFO that you could challenge to a 1st to 10, who would it be? Like, who would you want to challenge in a 1st to 10 from
I
arcade
guess
UFO?
I will ask who's considered the strongest one in
That's what I'm talking about, Caesar. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah, I would ask him like, okay, who's like the strongest one here, and then I want to play that person. That's how you get better. That's the only way you get better, dude. Like I said, I'm not afraid to get my shit kicked in. I want to get better.
I'm right there with you, Caesar. K-Reich, if you're still in the chat, or if anyone from UFO's in the chat, I mean, I'd love to see Kage versus Luke. I don't know if you could stand a 1st to 10 with Goki.
I actually played him. I played him on what's it called? On Showdown.
Yeah, Showdown, right? But 1st to 10.
Few matches.
Yeah, but 1st to 10 on a cab, that's going to be a little bit different, right?
Oh, so, yeah, that is.
Yeah, so Kage versus Luke 1st to 10, maybe Kage versus Tommy 1st to 10, Kage versus Marcus. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not trying to start shit or anything, but I'm just saying that this would be, like, as a fan, right? Like, to me, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Caesar, but a few years ago, we I was part of This Is Third Strike, and we started this thing called 3S Fight Club, and basically, we were like, things were getting stale in terms of just like running, normal tournaments. So we thought, instead of running like a tournament, let's run fight cards. Let's pit players against one another and run a card and see what happens. And I thought it was. I thought it made for a lot of interesting, entertaining matchups. Not all, so I kind of played like the 3S Don King, I was kind of like, I was trying to like matchmake and stuff, trying to see what would be good matches. And some of them were hits. A lot of them were misses, in terms of like, not really good matches. But going back to the whole Houston versus, Austin thing, I would definitely love, because in a singles tournament, right? Like sometimes you have to face your own, your own friends. Sometimes you may not even get to play, sometimes you won't get to play people that you don't normally play with. It really all depends on how you are in the bracket, So there's, But I would definitely love, and again, no pressure or nothing, but maybe at a future Arcade UFO event, I'd love to see KD versus, Luke, and maybe Kage versus Tommy or something. I don't know. I would definitely tune in for that. I definitely would. It would make for very entertaining Third Strike television.
Yeah, like I said, I'll try, man. As soon as I find out what's probably the next one, and I'll try to get the weekend off. It's just that's really the only issue.
Yeah. But I appreciate your competitive spirit. And so,
I am pretty competitive, man. Sometimes I do get mad. I'm like, dude, like I just want to get better, damn it.
Man, if you don't get mad, then that means you don't care. Right?
Actually, that is kind of true.
Speaking of players who don't care, I think this would be a great opportunity to. I think that would be This is a good segue for the next thing that I want to do on the podcast, Caesar. I don't know. I don't know how familiar you are with the Mutant XPerience. But every time I do the podcast, I do a segment called Pack It Up. And basically, Pack It Up is a segment where I highlight the past week's, let's say, less than stellar examples of Third Strike gameplay. I don't know if you watch basketball or any professional sports, Kage, but it's kind of like a blooper reel, if you will. It's kind of like basically, I pick out 5 videos, that to me are exemplary of not optimal play, and then I let people vote and tell me who their favorite nominees are.
All right.
So, are you ready for Pack It Up, Caesar?
Sure.
Okay. So, hopefully everyone in the chat is ready. So, without further ado, guys, here is this week's version of Pack It Up. All right. Pack it up. All right, nominee number 1. I'm pretty sure this Urian player tried to knee drop. Instead, he spread his legs just to eat a fireball in no man's land. That's a pretty interesting counter attempt. Nominee number 2. Some more fireball shenanigans.
Oh wow.
This Ken player does a pretty good job of avoiding the air fireball. Unfortunately, he lands right into the DP.
They should tell him you can just parry forward.
Nominee number 3. This is a very interesting clip because both players did something very stupid, and and I guess obviously the Ken player won, and that's just really funny.
Super.
Yeah, Psychic Super. Nominee number 4. This is great. Look at this throw. Goki thinks he's Zangief here, and he tries to throw. Oh man, this is pretty funny.
Wow.
Look at how far. And finally, nominee number 5. Here's some stomp shenanigans just for you, Kage. We got one. Those are these are top tier tactics.
Hell yeah.
They're 3T, top tier tactics. So, pick your favorite 1 through 5. Tell me which you think should win this week's Pack It Up. What do you think, Kage? What do you think, what do you think is the winner?
I'll have to go with Psychic Super, man.
Psychic Super.
Super.
Psychic Super was pretty funny. I mean, you gotta. That's some Miss Cleo shit right there.
Yeah, that's too advanced for me, man. I didn't even figure that out.
Yeah, you're right, Nero. I think I need to do like a year end Pack It Up awards or something, But I included that Alex clip just for you.
Oh, thanks.
I knew you would appreciate
that.
Yeah, please.
I'm have to steal that, man.
Don't try that at UFO. Maybe try it online, but don't try that at UFO.
Hey, you never know to try it.
Yeah, that's true. So before we get out of here, Kage, what are some do you have any kind of personal goals in terms of just yourself as a Third Strike player? Like, are there any specific events or maybe places that you want to go to compete or?
Well, you already touched up on it. To be honest, I mean, I really do want to go to Austin just because there's has so many strong players there, and like I said, once I'm able to have weekends off, then I'll try to go to more tournaments. That's really the plan. Once I'll be able to get weekends off, then I'll be able to go to more places, and I'll try to still play as much as I can whenever I have time, and for as long as I can, because I mean I still play it as long as I'm enjoying the game, and I'm hoping that's for a while.
Are there any plans? Are there any plans on streaming? Maybe are we gonna see?
Actually, I thought about streaming.
We're gonna see a BigNasty stream. The BigNasty stream.
Yeah, the BigNasty stream. Yeah,
the BigNasty show. Oh, that's so godlike. The BigNasty show with Kage.
Actually, a lot of people have said that
yes.
They're like, oh my god, that was a sick mix-up. I guess that's why they call him BigNasty and shit like that, just random stuff.
I like
but it. The issue with that is just I'm not sure what times, what days or what time will be best to stream it on, and because I never streamed before.
Well, whenever you're free, I guess, right?
Yeah, but yeah, just that and I'm kind of shy about it because I'm not really a big name player, so I'm not exactly sure if people will be that interested in watching me getting scrubbed out. So I'm not exactly sure.
I don't know if you're gonna get scrubbed out too much, but
believe me, there's some people there that are fucking monsters sometimes, man.
Yeah, and especially using Hugo online, it's sometimes it's a struggle. Definitely, sometimes it's definitely a struggle.
But yeah, I have thought about it. It's just like I said, my issue is just I'm not sure what days and what times to do it, but I really do want to stream.
Yeah. Hey, if Nero streams, then you can stream, man. Everyone, and I've been watching your streams, Nero, on the low key. I've been watching you, man. I've been watching.
Yeah, what? I should call it the BigNasty show. Yeah,
the BigNasty show. The BigNasty show.
Oh, that sounds good, man.
And you use Hugo, dude. Hugo is entertaining as hell, man. I love watching scrubby Hugos are difficult to watch.
I mean, of course, because you're getting hit by everything.
But more so than other characters. But a really good Hugo. Yeah.
No, it can be scary. I know because when I don't play Hugo and then I playing a Hugo player, I'm either thinking this guy is really good if he's playing Hugo, or this guy just trying him out. And most of the cases is the other, the first one, that they're really good, or they're pairing at some point.
It's just there's something about grapplers, right, that make you so hyped, that make everyone hyped, because they work so hard to get one move, and it's so satisfying, and everyone goes
Yeah, and sometimes just that one move to turn it around,
Yeah. So I don't know, you have my vote,
Oh, thanks.
Caesar. So hopefully we see the BigNasty show in the future. So before we get out of here, guys, I just wanted to let everyone know about some events that are coming up. next Tuesday, myself and Haas, another very well-known Texas Third Strike and ST player. Every other Tuesday, me and Haas, we host something called Turbo Tuesday, which is a hyper fighting tournament on Steam. So the next tournament is going to be next Tuesday, so hopefully look out for that. Tomorrow at iFix Machine in Brooklyn, Tekken 7 3v3 tournament. You had mentioned off stream, Caesar, that you play Tekken. You're trying to get into Tekken, and so that's definitely cool. Retro Night, Defend the North, next Friday. I'll be there streaming the 30th anniversary games, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, Third Strike, and ST. And remember, the winner of, or the highest placing non-sponsored player in the Third Strike tournament gets a free ride to Canada Cup. And then the main event, next weekend, Saturday, July 21st, Sunday, July 22nd, random select weekend, arcade Third Strike up the ass. Come down, play a lot of Third Strike, you'll have fun. Or your money back. No, just kidding. But anyway. So, I guess that's pretty much it for tonight's podcast. Again, Caesar, thanks for coming by and taking the time to do the podcast. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Hopefully we see the BigNasty show sometime soon. And if you wanna play Caesar on 30th anniversary, do you have like a Steam name or something? Or
yeah, actually, I played both Steam and 5K. It's just whatever people have it on. And also, Haas is from Austin, right?
Not really. He's in he's like in a town in between Austin and Houston.
Oh, okay, all right.
But
let's see. Yeah, shout outs to Haas. Yeah, he's a cool player too. Yeah. So for my Steam tag, it's gonna be. Let me look it up because I forgot how I wrote it.
Is it some variation of BigNasty or?
Yeah, it is a variation of BigNasty. Okay, so it should be BigNasty _ 3620.
So BigNasty _ 3620 like this in the chat.
Let me see. Yep, that's right.
Okay, so
and it should be the same for 5K too. Yeah,
so
it's the same for a 5K and S team.
So if you want to play a godlike Yugo player, if you want to get scooped up in 360s left and right, definitely add BigNasty _ 3620, aka Kage, aka Caesar, to Steam. I'm looking forward to playing you online, Caesar, and hopefully other people will challenge you as well. So once again, guys, thanks for tuning in to this week's Mutant XPerience, and we'll be back next week. See you later, guys.